I usually stick to reviewing console games because I've always played consoles and, well, I have a deep seething hatred of PC gaming with very few and very old exceptions. Pretty much the one time I've broken this rule was for Air Control, an unplayable, barely functional piece of garbage that briefly stunk up Steam. It sucked so bad some people wondered if it'd even be possible to find a worse game to review. Here's the thing, you're not going to find a game as broken as Air Control on consoles. Console games need publishers, and publishers have, standards? Steam, on the other hand, any schmuck can crap into their hand and throw the resulting excrement up on Steam, so I thought I'd take a brief look at some indie games on Steam, see if we can't stumble onto something worse than Air Control after all. We're going to start with a game called Mountain. You are Mountain, you are God. Please enjoy your time here. You're not given any instructions once the game starts up. You're just looking at this giant, slowly revolving mountain while nothing happens. Clicking and dragging the mouse moves the camera, and pressing keys on the keyboard plays musical notes but seems to do nothing else. So what do? Nothing. You do nothing except stare at the mountain. I shit you not, the game has no objectives. The game never advances past this screen. The entire game is just you staring at the mountain. Nothing happens! There's not even any music. You just gaze at this thing in total silence. Air Control's looking pretty good now, isn't it? Sometimes it rains on the mountain, trees randomly spawn on the mountain, and every now and then, some text appears at the top of the screen. This is being sold on Steam for money! The game isn't even coded that well. Adjusting the window size can crash the game, and there isn't a quit button. You just resize the window until you can click the X in the corner. So the next time that you're complaining about the new phoned-in Activision game or crappy reboot Sonic game, just remember, you could be staring at a mountain. Next, let's take a look at The Interview. And no, it doesn't have anything to do with that stoner movie that pissed off North Korea. Fear is desire the other way around. Why do I get the feeling this game is going to be shit the other way around?
Adam wanted a job, so he searched for one. He found one. And today was his interview. He was curious
what the hell
about
is that
but he
voice?
was even more curious
It purports
about
itself
the
to be an
dreadful
experimental
box of
Unity
the
game.
whole
Okay, my mistake. I am playing He Interview because the game doesn't adjust for the aspect ratio. You start the game by walking into a room with a table and 2 chairs. The funky voice starts asking you questions, and you click the squares or press number keys to select your answers. The controls are utter crap. Moving the mouse moves both the camera and the cursor. I have to select this chair by looking off to the side of it. You see some hallucinations after your first few answers, and after the first batch of questions you're shown some stock footage that I'm not even sure what it's supposed to be. It shows a guy getting shot, a girl with a dog, a carousel. I'm pretty sure some of the footage is from a Nazi concentration camp. Real classy.
What do you feel about that?
Oh god, so many great options. Do I tell the game that it's boring, or do I tell the game that it's pissing me off? Both are viable choices. How long is this game's intro?
Nice.
It begins asking you some more violent questions, like gun or knife, murderer or victim, and after each question you see another gruesome hallucination. Eventually you pass out, and you finally get to leave! Finally the game begins, and I get to do something! You walk through a small, completely empty room with one object that you click to move to the next room, and after you go through about 5 rooms exactly like this, the game's over. But that's it! I've only been playing for 12 minutes! I didn't do anything! All I did was answer some multiple choice questions. I took a Which Batman Are You online quiz that did that much, and get this. The game ends with a black text screen explaining that you've been playing as a serial killer who's been hallucinating his interrogation as a job interview. What kind of game does that? Shows you bizarre imagery to ponder its meaning and then flat out explains its meaning. It's not even that hard to figure it out. The game at one point asks you if you'd kill your mother in self-defense, and you're forced to answer yes. This is not exactly 2001: A Space Odyssey in terms of being cerebral. You also get the exact same hallucinations every playthrough, regardless of how you answer the questions. I selected the gun for the gun or knife question, and all of my hallucinations still revolved around knives, and the endgame text screen said I used a knife. The bar that the devs set for this game was so low they could use it for limbo parties in hell, and they still failed! Congratulations! That's an accomplishment! Experimental unity. Unite your face with a tire iron! When it comes to the crap that people get away with on Steam, one of the saddest examples has to be Grass Simulator. I'm going to level with you. Mountain is only 99 cents and the interview is $2, so there's arguably a little you get what you paid for leeway there. Grass Simulator is $10, so this had better have something to offer. Well, 7 game modes is a promising start. Let's start with the classic mode. You spawn in a grassy field, you start walking around, and that's it. You walk around this completely abandoned field and you do absolutely nothing. You think I'm kidding? Watch the screen. I walked around this barren spit of land for 10 minutes, and you know what I found? 4 invisible walls fencing off the map. That's it. There are no enemies, there are no items, there are no objectives, there are no mechanics, there is no way to win this game. All you do is walk around a completely abandoned field until you get bored and shut the game off. I found some cows whose heads spastically jerk up and down like there were almost animations. I found a small lake where I tried to drown my character just so something would actually happen. There's nothing in the map that you can interact with. This is the game! You walk around doing nothing except getting bored and wondering why the trees are all lazily placed in straight lines. This is what a game would look like in a pre-alpha state. Shit, I've seen pre-alphas with more content than this, and they want $10 for this! And what about the other modes? You want to see grass mode? I'll show you grass mode. This is grass mode. You stare at flat 2D images of grass as they slowly rise out of the ground. Your only input is to turn the camera. I am literally playing a game where you watch grass grow. So next time someone tells you they'd rather watch grass grow, you set them in front of this game and you tell them to shut the hell up. Next up is dubstep mode, where you watch a bunch of cows dance to dubstep, but the developer was too lazy to make actual animations, so none of the cows do anything except spin in place. Range mode, you stand in front of a target range and do nothing because the game bugged out. Seriously, I can't move, I can't turn the camera, and I certainly can't press O to switch weapons like the game says, but the pause button still works, so the game isn't frozen, it's just a broken down heap of shit. Okay, snow mode. What the shit is this? I can't move here either! Maybe the game's just glitching up. I'm guessing this isn't the most well-made game on Steam. Let's just exit and get back in. The quit button won't work either! Let me out of this shit-ass game! After force restarting the game, snow mode started working. Oh my god, I found a gun! Hey look, the enemies explode when killed because the dev couldn't be asked to make a falling down animation. Sound familiar? No, screw you and your dubstep cows! You will die! All of you will die! Wow, the exploding cows actually killed me. So, if it's possible to die, how come there's no health indicator? How come there's no ammo count? How come I respawned without my gun and I can't find another one? Is there only one gun because they don't want you actually amusing yourself while playing this crap fest? Without the gun to amuse yourself with, the snow level is just more empty scenery. You climb the mountain until you hit an invisible wall, and that's the game. The next mode is Bad Disco. Well, I've seen enough, and the last mode is online, which just brings up a trying to establish connection screen that never goes away. Congratulations! You told one joke, and you charged people $10 to hear it! Grass Simulator is supposed to be a joke. You hear about it, you go, that's not a real game, and then you look it up and you laugh because it is a real game. But you don't go charging $10 for a joke game! When you charge money for your game, you are making a product for consumption. You are taking on a responsibility to make something that's worth blowing cash on. If this game were free, it would be a funny joke, but charging money for a game where you do absolutely nothing, that's not telling a joke, that's willingly selling something that you know is defective. That's taking someone's money and then laughing in their face. You are no longer a brilliant satirist taking jabs at the games industry. You are a con man screwing people who don't know any better. In summary, fuck you and all the rest of these joke simulator games. Water simulator, cookie simulator, bathroom simulator, tea party simulator. It's not funny. It's never been funny. It's never going to be funny. I never thought I'd have to say this, but what if we played a game where you actually get to do something? This is Sperm Nation. I apologize for the graphic nature of what I'm about to say, But you play as a sperm cell that has been ejaculated into a female uterus during the act of coitus, and you have to swim to and fertilize one of her egg cells to get her pregnant and be born. You spawn in a huge cavern filled with other sperm cells, there's just lasers going off everywhere and you have no idea where you're getting shot from, and you navigate a linear tunnel to get to the end. You have cannons that draw from a replenishing energy supply, and there are also various power-ups that also draw from this energy. The controls are utter crap. There's only one movement button, which makes you go straight forward, and you turn by moving the mouse to look in the direction you want to go. The problem is that there's at least a full second, probably closer to 2, between turning to face another direction and actually moving in that direction. Like you're moving on ice and sliding everywhere, and it makes grabbing power-ups impossible unless you see them well in advance and head straight for them. Wow, I am the only cell around and these turrets aren't even trying to shoot me. What, are they just for show? You're given plenty of health to make it to the end of the level with your starting equipment, but you don't actually win unless you're the first sperm to make it to the egg, which is accurate to real life. So after you lose a level, you use the money you've collected in your sperm bank, to purchase upgrades for the next round. Just one tiny problem. Once you purchase a piece of equipment, you only get it for one round. You start every level with 0 equipment, so the only strategy that makes any sense is to play a few rounds intending to lose, just stockpiling money for one run where you buy everything so you can win. Come on, I got the afterburners, the speed engine, the armor. I'm so close, I can't lose these items. Come on! Shit! You have the option of shooting down the other cells, but they're so small, they dart around like crazy, and your projectiles are slow as crap. Hitting anything is 100% luck, and the secondary weapons you can buy don't help. I can barely hit anything aiming with a straight shot. What the hell am I supposed to do with this scatter beam that just throws out random pellets? And even if the weapons did work worth a shit, there's way too many enemies to shoot them all, and if an enemy passes you, you'll never be able to spot them to shoot them in the first place. So all of your weapons are completely worthless. You can buy booster upgrades that draw from the same energy pool as your weapons, and you're actually far better off never firing your weapons and just pouring all the energy into whatever booster you have equipped, because all that matters is getting to the end first. You can, and in fact I did, win without firing a single shot. It's a shooter where you win by doing no shooting. There's no skill to this game, since shooting enemies is such a pain in the ass. The only way to win is to outrace all the other cells, and since they're all automatically faster than you, you'll only do that if you have the fastest engine and the booster power-up. All you do is pour all your cash into those 2 items and steer for some of the booster power-ups, and you win. Just like that. The levels all have such similar layouts and difficulty that it feels like you're just playing one stage over and over again, and every stage is only about 4 minutes long, so you're only going to play this game a few times before you get sick of it. The only reason I played this long is because I wanted to see what happens when you win. Maybe you see a stock image of a baby, or maybe a photo of— oh dear God! I'm just going to replace that with an image of a chow. There. That's much better. I was originally going to cover a Steam game called Dive to the Titanic in this little special too, but my script got way too long and I try to keep my videos around or under 20 minutes, so that turd will have to be shat out another time. For now, we've got one last game to take a look at. The Slaughtering Grounds. You may have heard of this game before. Jim Sterling, games journalist and former editor of The Escapist, did a first impressions let's play of this game for his YouTube channel, whereupon the developer threw an epic shit fit, began personally attacking Jim on the game's forums, issued a copyright takedown on his video, and threatened to take him to court in a futile bid to silence criticism of the game. Sterling, Total Biscuit, and Angry Joe went on to declare The Slaughtering Grounds one of the worst games of 2014. So is this game really that bad, or did the developer's epic assholery overshadow the game itself? Let's find out. There are 3 characters to play as, but the only one unlocked at the start of the game is this fat biker dude with a pistol and a shotgun. You spawn in the middle of a vaguely industrial-looking area full of zombies, and you run around shooting them. Pretty basic stuff. Actually, it's extremely basic stuff. There are no special enemies except for one that I saw a grand total of twice. Every zombie runs straight at you and melee attacks, and none of them do anything else. So it's basically just one enemy with a dozen or so skins. Alright, what the hell is hurting me? There are no sounds in the game other than whatever noises your gun makes and a groan when a zombie dies. There is absolutely no audio or visual cue when you take damage, and the enemies don't make any noise so you know when they're close. You'll just out of nowhere start bleeding health, you'll turn around, and lo and behold there's a zombie behind you. Actually, you'll often turn around and see that there's about 50 zombies behind you. Once an enemy starts chasing you, they never freaking stop. They just pursue you to the ends of the earth. I ran out of ammo a long time ago because you spawn with a piddly-ass 10 bullets in each gun, so I run around looking for ammo, and every time I run past a zombie, it starts chasing me along with all the others I've got chasing me until I've got a mob that Justin Bieber would be jealous of following me around. Also, all of the enemies move at the exact same speed as you do, and there's no sprint or etc. run faster button, so once an enemy starts chasing you, there's no shaking them. They just stay on your ass until one of you dies. So the mob of enemies chasing you just gets bigger and bigger because the enemies don't stop spawning. There's also no melee attack, so once you run out of ammo, you are officially 100% defenseless. Pretty much every time that I die, I respawn and I immediately lose 20% or even half of my health, despite the fact that there are no enemies around. That's because when you die, the enemies all start stomping on your corpse, and any damage you take while lying dead on the ground carries over to your next life. It's like the developers couldn't figure out how to not count all of the hits that you take. Also, every time that you die, you respawn without a weapon, and you have to press the number key to re-equip your gun, and you respawn with the same amount of ammo that you died with, so tough shit if you were empty. Near as I can tell, you've got infinite lives and none of the level's timers reset when you die. In fact, dying gets rid of all the enemies chasing you. Getting killed does nothing except straight up help you. The game runs like mangled ass. I had to crank the graphics down to their lowest setting to get the game to run at its normal 30 frames per second, and even then the frame rate still plunged into single digits the first time I turned around and saw the horde I had following me around, and it never rose above 15 after that. The devs shoved so many enemies into the map that the frame rate chugs to PowerPoint levels frequently. The biker man's pistol is completely useless. It's difficult to aim, and it takes about 3 shots to kill anything, which gets you killed since the enemies are so fast and so numerous. And this is going to sound ridiculous, because it is, but there are not multiple types of ammo in this game. If you pick up an ammo box, it just refills the gun that you're carrying at the time. So if you always keep the shotgun equipped, that's the only gun you'll ever find ammo for. So if you can put every bit of ammo you find into the shotgun, then what's the point of having the pistol? Even Wolfenstein and Doom managed to figure out how to have different ammo types, and they were made over 2 decades ago! Instead, we've got the video game embodiment of Schrodinger's cat, he said, trying to convince his audience that he was intelligent. This is just going to confuse the hell out of anybody who plays the game, because any rational person would use the shotgun until it runs out, switch to the pistol while they search for more shotgun ammo, and then would never find more shotgun ammo! Oh, and are you sick of that music yet? The music is just 12 beats that repeats over and over again, and it's the only music in the game. So right about now, you're probably wondering, what the hell am I supposed to be doing? What is the objective to this game? You're not supposed to kill all the zombies because they never stop respawning. There are 3 objectives in the corner: kill 10 zombies, get 10 headshots, and blow up 10 zombies. But if you complete any of those objectives, its counter just resets to 0 and nothing happens. What the hell am I supposed to do? The map is tiny, maybe a quarter of the size of Grass Simulator, so if I'm supposed to find something, I probably would have stumbled onto it by now. My best guess at this point is you're just supposed to wait until the clock runs out and the level ends. But we've already established that the timer doesn't reset when you die, so the entire game you're basically just walking around, shooting the same zombie over and over again, not even caring if you get killed or not, just waiting for the timer to run out. The clock starts at 16 minutes, and believe me, you have no idea how long 16 minutes really is until you spent that time aimlessly walking in circles around the map waiting for the clock to hit 0. The clock doesn't stop when you pause the game either. This is one of those games where pausing the game doesn't actually pause. All of the enemies keep moving, and the timers of those objectives keep ticking down, probably to accommodate the game's multiplayer mode, which you guys didn't even finish the single player mode and you decided to tack on multiplayer. By the way, if the timers on those objectives run out, the timers just reset, but the counters themselves don't. So what's the point of these objectives if nothing happens when you beat them, and nothing happens when the timer runs out?
I have no idea!
The entire game just feels like nothing was ever finished, like they didn't know how to program objectives, timers, AI, or ammo, so they just left all this unfinished shit in the game that doesn't work. Eventually, I mustered the will to sit in front of this game for the full 16 minutes and I progressed to level 2, which has the exact same objectives and enemies as level 1 did, and near as I can tell, you also finished this level by just running out the clock. For a while I thought that level 2 was just level 1 again with the sky a different color because they copied and pasted entire buildings from the first level. You can use the cash that you've accumulated by killing zombies to purchase upgrades for your gun and character, in addition to needing to use the money to purchase the other characters. But you can only purchase these upgrades if you go back to the character selection screen, and the character selection screen doesn't have a continue button. You have to start the entire game over if you want to upgrade yourself. But here's the good news. You want to know how I can easily get back to level 2? Pause the game and go do something else for 16 minutes. Remember, you have unlimited lives, the timer never resets, and the only thing that needs to happen to beat the level is that timer to run out. I can beat the first level of the game by watching an episode of Beware the Batman while my computer is completely unattended. This is the game you decided to pick a fight with Jim Sterling over! I ended up purchasing one of the soldiers just to see what the other characters handle like, and both soldiers only come with one gun unless you purchase a second one separately. Talk about padding. So I saved up and I bought this Navy SEAL looking dude who's got machine guns instead of a shotty, and he somehow manages to shoot straight despite clearly aiming his gun about 6 feet to the left! Seriously, you couldn't slide his arms over so it looks like he's pointing straight? The SEAL also has a glitch where the buttons to switch his weapons are reversed. Pressing 1 equips his number 2 weapon and vice versa, and one of his guns obstructs your view so you can't see what you're shooting. Both machine guns take at least 3 or 4 shots to kill enemies, while Biker Dude's shotgun kills enemies in 1 shot and scatters to hit several enemies without being upgraded. So why did I have to unlock a guy who is worse in every conceivable way than my starting character?
I have no idea!
And the upgrades suck shit, too. Not only does it cost about $10,000 to fully upgrade one trait of one character or gun, thus requiring hours of grinding, but I blew $2,000 to upgrade my character's health regeneration, only to find out the health regeneration doesn't work. Then what's the point of increasing my health bar if dying has no consequences?
I have no idea!
Let's see, what other noteworthy bugs are there? Holy shit, I can walk through trees! Lady, you going to attack me or what? Hello? What are you, asleep? Hey, lady!
That's incredible.
My health. It's over 9,000! Help! I'm stuck in this box and I can't jump back out! And it looks like I'm also having a stroke! Behold! I am at 0 health, yet I still live! Is that a mummy? The hell is a mummy doing in a zombie game? It's like they just took characters from a pre-purchased asset package and just threw them in randomly! Oh wait, that's exactly what they did! Level 2 is significantly better than Level 1 because there's more ammo, there's a lot of explosive to play with, and they cut down the number of enemies so the frame rate is actually stable. But it's still the same crappy, almost non-existent gameplay. After watching another episode of Beware the Batman, I advanced to Level 3, which is, of course, the same wait until the timer runs out lack of an objective as the first 2 levels. I swear to God, I think Level 3 is the exact same layout as Level 2. It looks exactly the same. They just set it at a different time of day so the colors look a little different. Hey guys, if you're too lazy to make a video game, don't make a video game! Once you beat the 3rd level, it just kicks you back to level 1. The game just repeats endlessly. There is no ending, there is no beating this game. So riddle me this, if this game is impossible to win, impossible to lose, and offers no stimulation because it's just you immortally shooting the same one person endlessly across all of time, then why on God's green earth should anybody ever be playing it?
I have no idea!
Okay. This concludes our look into the dark underbelly of Steam's indie games. Games that people made in a day or two to sell for suckers because they think it's funny, games that tried to be good but the developer was too inexperienced to balance it out, and half-finished pieces of shit shat out by people with egos too big to acknowledge that the game was nowhere near ready for release. And Screw it. The next review is Blues Brothers 2000. Suddenly I have a much deeper appreciation for the more refined crap of Titus software.